Martijn, Las Vegas.
Vanavond, man.
Ja.
Damn,
Damn,
ik hoop dat Martin gaat winnen.
I saw him. You know him, Martin?
Yeah. Yeah, I trained with him a lot. So
Seems like a nice, humble, simple guy. You know.
he is, man.
I watched him around. I watched him a couple
Yeah,
of
he's a
times.
good fighter, but the last 2 times in UFC, his performance was not that good, man.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he froze, man.
Yeah, man. It happens. It happens to the best of us, you know.
Yeah, 2 times in a row, man. It's fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, it's too bad. But I think he has it. I mean, I've seen this guy's. I've seen him somewhere, but I don't remember exactly.
He was destroying everybody in one FC.
And I think one is harder than UFC. I personally think one FC level is higher than UFC.
No,
level.
why?
If we don't consider the wrestling.
Yes.
If we don't consider, you see what I mean?
Yeah,
if you don't consider all the wrestling, then I would say one FC.
Yeah, some
way
former
higher.
UFC fighters really got smashed in one.
Yeah.
Because
Really
of the
got
stance.
their ass moved. Yeah.
But if you add like knees to a downed opponent, then the game changes, right?
Yeah.
They have that. That's
Yes.
true.
So
Yes.
that means if you shoot and you get sprawled on you and you're in fear for your life, you're getting knee to the face. And if somebody can't knee you to the face, then you can shoot more and more.
Yeah.
You saw like the old Pride fight with Ron Waterman and Mirko Krokos. He missed the shot and Mirko just pushed his head down and like he just
had that field day.
But one of those soccer kicks can kill a normal man, I think.
Man,
Yeah.
Mirko was a beast. Mirko was a beast.
I saw him fight in Glory also against Bojanski.
Oh my god.
But that was, I was surprised, man.
Why?
Because it really looked bad, man. I was like,
Mirko looked bad?
yeah, man.
And
Like,
Bojanski?
out of shape, man. No stamina, nothing, man.
Really?
Yeah, I really wasn't impressed, man. I was like, really? But
Well,
Everybody can have
after
good and
that,
bad.
after that, I saw him fight in Pride and or Dream or something, and
because drugs were allowed again.
yeah. But he's a beast, man. He's a strong fighter.
I remember.
Oh, he's really strong, man.
If you look at his face, you know that he's half a war criminal in a way. You know,
Yeah,
he has some history to him.
Yeah.
He has some stuff in his back pocket, man. That's
He wasn't that anti-terrorist squad, right?
huh?
He wasn't.
Yeah,
He wasn't the anti-terrorist.
So
squad.
I think fighting's like a hobby for him. Normally he's just shooting and killing.
Yeah, but he has to have something that is like it's a next level. It's like a killer mentality, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, it's weird. Rafles, last time we were here, we had an amazing one.
Yeah.
The only problem is I didn't believe, and we as the whole group, we watched it a couple of times. It's an amazing story.
Yeah.
The problem was, I think it was the audio that came out wasn't deserving.
Okay.
The audio that came out, you could hear it, but you
Yeah.
had to really pay attention. There was a little bit of background noise and stuff like that. And we were like, this is too bad because the story is so amazing and it wouldn't do fair justice to everything I heard.
Yeah.
And it was like at a certain moment you were talking so much, there was so much involved in that one story that I thought was amazing. And we were going to pick it up again. Either way. And I was thinking, well, you know what? I'll ask Raoul to come too. Because this is like a generation thing right now. You know?
we go way back. Man.
Go way back.
There you go.
He's been whooping my ass for many years now.
How much?
2004? 2004,
Yeah,
2005?
2005.
2005.
Yeah.
Close to here, man. It was Uchikomi.
Yes, Wilde Dijk.
Wilde Dijkade.
Yeah.
Uchikomi? I have not.
The Japanese owner.
It sounds familiar, but
Yeah.
it.
And now Etake Gym
Yeah.
is now in the same gym.
Facility,
They
yeah.
took it over.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a.
That's 17 years? What? No.
15 years now.
15 years.
November this year. 15 years.
15 years.
15
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think you came in the end of 2005.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah.
Yeah.
The end
we
of
just
2005.
started, you know, Bloem and Marloes.
Yeah.
Started there, I joined them and
Yeah.
we just started
Yeah.
there to do.
Yeah, I remember because I actually had like a small mountain biking accident before I came. I was a little bit injured, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. And then I walked into the gym, and the rest is I want to say history, but
Yeah, that's where it started.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's where you guys met for the first time to fight, actually.
Yeah.
So like I actually train each other. What was it?
Yeah,
He was teaching.
I was teaching, and
So he's my
I was his trainer back then, and now he's training me.
There you go. What's going on, man?
No, he was. Yeah, I remember.
Oh,
that.
man.
I remember that time. It was good.
Yeah.
You were teaching and Rumer was teaching and Marlus was like kind of there, but not like teaching much. And you did most of the grappling.
Yeah.
And Rumer did most of the striking. I don't know if that's the way you guys divided it or it's just naturally.
Natural, yeah. He was originally he came from Taekwondo. That was.
So he has the.
Yeah.
I remember Taekwondo was hot for a long time, and then it just.
Yeah, it was good, man. I think he was like a national champion.
Yeah, he was something like that. He was pretty high.
Yeah, he was high level Taekwondo guy, man.
Damn.
But the difference, he could translate it into because if you're pure Taekwondo, you just get taken down. But he could translate it into MMA really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did some most of the striking instruction. You did most of the grappling instruction, and that's how it started. And then so you taught me to grapple.
Yeah. You submitted me after I think a year. We were training, and then he got me in the armbar. I was like, "What the fuck, man?"
It happened.
But already he was fast, man. Your legs already were like really different than from a lot of people. You know, a lot of people you can read. You're like, okay, I see it coming. And one day we were training, and then he just tried the armbar. I was like, fuck, man.
That was fast.
Yeah, it was fucking fast. I was like, okay,
there should be a name for the emotion of like getting tapped by one of your students. The emotion is fuck, man. Really, that is the emotion.
Yeah.
That because you're happy and at the same time you say this motherfucker.
Yeah, your ego is like, oh man, this cannot happen, but it's a good thing.
Yeah. And then, but the other day you're really, really proud and happy.
Yeah, I don't know how it came to be, but for some reason, naturally, I had a triangle and an armbar. Like, some people, like, you can suck at many things in grappling, but I think everybody has something. They see it once and they can like do it, and obviously it wasn't perfect and it wasn't great, but like armbars and triangles, I got that quick. I just got it like in a few months. I'm like, I got this, and then within a year I developed like a really armbar game. Like people say that I like to attack legs now. But I had like an armbar phase for years. All that I did.
Armbars, triangles.
Armbars and triangles.
Oh, how the world changes. Because now I just see him go for legs.
The funny thing is, I can switch back to that. Sometimes I actively push a button in my brain like, is this armbar Raoul today? No, just armbar all day.
Really?
Don't tell all the secrets.
Don't give him everything, man. Don't give him everything. But give us a lot. Give us as much as you can.
So I had like this armbar phase. And then
there's something I have a lot of difficulty with, and I think you guys have like at the point that I started, I had one thing that was really, really good at. I was really, really good for a long time in half guard. I used to do half guard, then I used to go like upside down, and I would either do a knee bar or I would tornado guard people over me. Like throw them over, you know. So that was 1, 2. It hit every single time. Then I hurt myself, and I was like, okay, I can't do it anymore. I have to vary my game because I'm brown belt now, and that's basically the only thing I can do. Yeah. And then I just switched that off and started doing a bunch of the stuff. I learned a bunch of other stuff. I'm horrible at finishing. I'm horrible at submitting. I submit on surprises. Like I surprise somebody with something that is like not at all to be proud of, like a wrist lock or something. You see people screaming and stuff like that. That is my thing, you know. I'm not positionally really good, and then but you can switch it on and off. I have to mentally prepare a whole day and tell myself I'm gonna Kimura, and then when I get there, I have to remember, especially competition. Like I have to really get my head into it. Or else it's just gone and I'm just rolling.
Yes, you have to think about it. I think everybody has natural tendencies. Like he always reminds me, just stay on top. I'm like, okay, that's an option. I don't have to jump around and try a bunch of submissions. Because
that's your natural game.
Yeah, when I do get on top, if somebody reminds me to just control the guy, I'm actually not too bad at that.
No, you're good at it. Good at it.
But I just need somebody to tell me that
Stay.
What are you doing? Stay there. Like, oh yeah, that's an option.
Yeah, you can
okay,
stay there.
You have to remember that.
Because I'm always hunting the sub.
Yeah. And if you do it in competition, we spoke about it a lot. He does it in the competition too. You know.
You go to you coach.
No, we train. You know, normally like once a week. And then we talk about tactics, you know, strategy, and it's like, if you go for the submission all the time, people will
stall you out.
They will get to know you, they will try to get you tired, you know, and then they can defend and get 1 point and then they win. And that's the thing, he's good at positioning, you know, but he's like, I have to go for the kill. And I'm like, no, first go for the position, your points, and then you're gonna, you know, finish. Finish it.
Secure then finish.
Yes.
Secure then finish. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the strategy, you know, for a tournament.
Yeah.
First get your points, because if you're gonna submit everyone and it doesn't work, you're gonna be dead, man. After one round, you're gonna be like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
But I have that mentality of just go for it, go, and sometimes you just need to get reminded that there is another world out there.
But I must say, if you were to think about efficiency in this whole game, then like the faster you can finish a fight, the better.
Yes, but then if you finish the first 2-3 guys fast, and the fourth guy read it, he saw it, and he's good at reading your game, then he can like run away from you in such a way that the ref's not gonna call him out for it, and run away from you, disengage, and then you're gonna be how do you say, if you get too overly greedy, and then they just time a sit up, or they time when they sit, when you sit, and then
just get to get the point.
Because there's a thing like with the double guard pull, and when you sit and when your opponent sits, they time that, and then they get 1 point. Now you're behind, so now you're gonna hunt more.
Because you get that in your brain.
Now I'm behind on points, and then you go push more, and then you open up, and then he gets like a real pass, even if it's for 2 seconds. But then and then after that he runs.
And then that's true.
And that already happened a few times.
That happened a few times. So I get those people. I don't respect them for shit, but I get that. But it's fine, you know. If that's what people want to do, then that's what people want to do. If that's what they specialize in, then that's what they specialize in. More power to them.
I get it. I get it. But if the ultimate outcome of the competition is to win, I'm of your school of thought, where I would say like there's winning and then there's winning. If I win by if it's a very high level fight and you're in the world's championship, and you have somebody,
So if it's like $100 or $10 on the line, sure, do your stuff. But if it's like a local tournament, are you really proud of yourself?
No, then jump into it, try shit. No, I agree with that, but I agree. Because there was a discussion a long time, because when that sitting started, a lot of people realize that if I sit down, I take away the advantage of being taken down.
Yes.
So the wrestling part gets annihilated. Plus, all the legs are right there to fight, especially if you're a smaller dude. Then suddenly that happens. So everybody started sitting down.
Yeah, I know.
Then 50-50 came out of it. And then suddenly they were like playing on advantages.
Yes, but
that was at the world championship level, which means that if you get it, your name ranks super high in the IBJJF, which means sponsors, trips, seminars, and everything like that.
So that's I get why people play that game, and it's good.
I wouldn't. I can't.
No, but
I get it.
I totally get it. But I make a distinction between two different things. Sometimes people get things wrong in their head. What I mean is like, we can grapple. Yeah. And I can either win the match, or I can defeat you, or I can do both.
There you go.
If I tap you in a minute, then I won the match and I defeated you.
I get that.
If I run away and if I game you, that's why I call it. If I play the game like, okay, now I got this one advantage, I'm gonna time this, get this one advantage, and then you're gonna feel pressure to do something, or I win by advantage, or I just play that game where I just run away in such a way that it's efficient and the judge's not gonna call me on it. If I do that and I win, then 100%.
You didn't.
No. He won. You win. A win's a win. He won the match. But did he beat you? Did I beat you?
Yeah, that's
He won the match, but he didn't win the fight.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's
so,
like a lot of people play like that. So
yeah,
if you know that,
that's fine. That's fine. That's totally legitimate. And it's totally fine.
It's not winning. Yeah, that's true.
It is winning. You won the match. You won. It is winning. Within the rule set, you won the match.
Within the rule set.
You won the match.
If we take fighter against fighter.
Yeah. Would you get respect from your peers? No. Like, I'd rather... Look, I saw it a few times also when Imad was competing. And you see these people winning in that way. And, Imad won a bunch of tournaments. But he also came in like second and third a bunch of times. And those times was often like, or sometimes he really got beat, but sometimes it was just like, he was trying to win the fight, and the other guy was trying to win the match, and the other guy won the match. Understand what I mean?
But lost it.
And then no, he didn't lose. He won the match. But at the end of the tournament, everybody came up to Imad, "Oh, you're the best guy here. It was awesome. You did this, you did that." Like,
it's great.
So it's great. But alright, but the other side, flip side of that coin is the other guy won the match. You know what I mean? So there's a difference.
Absolutely. But that's also something that I always wanna. If I've been a little bit lazy in competition lately because I'm going to a lot of gyms and I'm trying to I want to fight people and beat their game.
Yeah.
So that is mostly what I want to do. It's not about I armbar somebody. No, I want to completely shut everything down. So if you
domination.
That's the difference. I want to beat the fighter. I want to beat the whole style that he has. And there's no fun in me if I play only my game and beat somebody with only my game. I know that it's I'm super heavy. I pull somebody in triangle, squeeze them there for as long as needed, and break something or something. Then I won. And in the same idea, it's not about winning the match. It's about completely constructing everything he built up from the beginning all the way down.
Yeah, that's the hardest road though. But
that is. There's a few guys that do that, man.
Shit. But that's the highest level.
That is, man. We gotta reach that. We gotta go all the way there. We still have a lifetime.
It's hard. I test some parts of my game against pretty high level people.
Yeah.
And sometimes it fails, sometimes it works. But when it fails, I always learn from it and I fix it.
Yeah, you never truly lose.
Yeah.
You lose when you don't fight.
Yeah.
So you've been 15 years. Wait a minute. You've been 15 years, and you have been how long now? Because you told me last time
I started training in 96 September.
There you go.
So almost 24 years now.
Yeah.
I think 2 years ago, my trainer sent me, my friend, Martijn de Jong, he sent me a screenshot from my membership. Somebody found it, my first membership, and it was September 1996.
It was.
It's crazy. That's a lifetime doing it.
Yeah.
That's a lifetime of martial arts.
It's long.
Yeah, it's long, man.
Long time ago,
Yeah, brought me a lot. So
you started in Deventer, right?
Started in Deventer, yeah.
Is it that same gym where you're still at?
Yeah. We started in a different location, but it's still the same. Same group.
That's the gym.
Deventer.
You took us a few times there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's the same place.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
man.
You need to take me too. A couple of. I would love to go there.
Man, it was great. We were in the basement, really, man. We were training there with a lot of guys, man. Martijn had a good connection with a lot of people. We had a big network, and Chuck Liddell was training there once. Minotaur was training there. We were training with Gilbert Eiffel. Alistair Overeem was training with him for many years. Siabao Dusada, Marloes Koenen, all those guys that really became famous.
There's something in that basement, man.
Yeah, something happened. It was just a group. We loved to train. And it was fun, man. Japanese fighters came over there. Everybody came over there. So when I was just starting, after a few years, I saw Japanese guys, and I was, trying something, and they were like, it's like, fuck. I thought I could fight, and then they came. I was like, I'm a fucking baby, man.
Yeah, there's people.
And after that, you learn more, because every time you go against somebody that's really high level, professional level, top level, you're like, I can do something. And then you train with those guys and you're like,
nope.
Oh no, man. I was helpless.
There's people out there that make you feel like children.
That's out of your comfort zone, you know. And then you're reevaluating everything. You're like, yeah, I have to change this, I have to change that, and then you learn.
And then you grow.
Then you grow, man. We went, Martijn and I, we went to Japan for 3 weeks. First I had a fight. I came there, I had to fight like Jitaro Nakao. Not sure if that's the correct name, but Nakao was his last name. And he beat Pat Miletich, was a good fighter at that time, and he had him in a triangle. And I was like, yeah. I can fight a guy, you know, training for 5 years. Yeah, you want to fight him? Yeah, I'm gonna fight him. And then we started, and at first it went pretty well. Stand up. Then we went to the ground, and he lifted me up with his knees. At first I came in mount position, but I think he just let me. Mm-hmm. I was fast. He came in mount position, then he lifted me up, and boom, another step, and he had me in a triangle, like. That was fuck. Never saw that.
That's
Never
cheating.
happened to me.
That's cheating. That's cheating, guys. That's cheating. Stop it.
That was really a learning experience. But yeah, we went to Japan, and after we were fighting there, we went training for 2.5, 3 weeks almost. We went to Tokyo, you know, to a lot of gyms, and met a lot of good fighters, you know, like judo fighters back then that were like top level guys, and I started to train with them. First time I felt them, I was like, fuck, man, I can't fight. I have to learn so many more technique, you know, so many more strategies, and but after that you grow, you know, you're like, shit, man, I thought I could do anything. I was something, but then you realize, no, man, I'm here, and I have to go a long way to get at a level.
It's a never ending.
Yeah, there's
always this one guy that comes up with something, and you're like, oh no, I have
you're
to
like,
start
yeah,
now.
I can fight, and then somebody comes to visit you, and you're like, fuck,
I can't.
can't even pass the card, man. What the fuck, man? I'm training for 20 years, 24 years, man. But that's good. That's what I love. That's the nice thing of fighting, you know. You always have a new challenge. You're like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. Yeah, I'm experienced, I can fight. And then you meet someone and he's doing some stuff, and you're like, what was that?
What happened?
What happened, man? How did you do that?
Yeah,
that's why I like fighting.
Yeah.
It's the rest of our lives.
It's always something new.
I believe in it. There's people I get a good connection with usually, and I start like paying attention. I'm very attracted to, and there's those that you can see. Oh, they're doing this forever, like me. They're not gonna stop. They're gonna be 60 and still trying shit out on each other. Like
I hope so, man. I hope when we grow old, you know,
doing finger holds and stuff like that. Like completely broken body and going like at each other. Come here.
I'm rolling till the wheels fall off, man.
I'm
gonna try. At least that's what I hope.
That's my goal, man.
I think I'm looking at my crew right now. I think we found the caption for this day. I'm rolling till my wheels fall off.
Yeah, me too, man.
That is amazing. Yeah, we have to keep going, man. Yeah. Injuries, everything.
Yeah, I'm addicted, you know. It's a way of life. It's like breathing, you know. I have to.
Well, I actually quit a few years.
Yeah. You had to quit.
Yeah. How did you feel about that? The quitting part. I mean, when did you quit?
I didn't feel too bad about it, to be honest. So what happened was.
Let me ask. When did you? When you went to Tokyo, then eventually, of course, you came back. Then you started teaching, from how I remember the story going.
Yeah, no. After you know, when Martijn was my teacher, and we became real good friends. You know, he's like a brother of me. You know, and he had to go away for fights. You know, coaching, and then he asked me, okay, can you teach? That was back in Deventer, like maybe 18 years ago. He started asking me, hey, can you teach a little bit, you know, when I'm away? Okay, I assisted him, and I started also, I was continuing to fight, you know, did some MMA fights, you know, abroad and over here in the Netherlands. And when I got injured, tear down my ACL, and then I was like, will I continue fighting and break, you know, wear down my body, or was like training and teaching, you know? And I did the latter one. I was like, I'm gonna teach and train, you know, enjoy training and enjoyed for many years to come. And then I went to Amsterdam, 2005, and then we started. I started teaching, you know.
Yeah,
and then we met.
And something happened, and then you stopped.
Yeah, but after many years, man.
Many years. So I was training. Let's see. So I started 2005. You say?
Yeah.
Then I probably. And it wasn't like I slowly got in. No, when I got in, Like I was training almost every day, right?
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah, it was good.
So
this happens to most people that actually like that keep doing it forever.
I had the same thing.
They step in and they said, "I'm never leaving again."
Yeah. So
my ego got touched the first time.
Yeah, me too.
I went box. I used to box good, and I have a black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah, you told me.
And then the moment I went into jiu-jitsu, somebody fucked me up, and they were way too small to be able to fuck me up.
Yeah. So I have a funny story about that as well. I'll get into that later if you remind me. So what happened? So end 2005, I got in. I trained. I did my first grappling tournament. I believe January or February 2006.
Something like that. Yeah.
I lost. Big surprise. And then I trained all the way to 2010, I guess. In 2006, 7, and 8, I had fights. Something like 7, 8.
You had some fights.
Had some fights. But I trained all the way to 2010. And then I toned down. I stopped training every day in 2010, and I started training because that's when we also moved to from Ushikomi to the thing in Tussen de Bogen.
Yeah.
There.
Cesario.
Yeah. Team was different, vibe was different. It was still good, but it was different. And I was into basically I needed to make money.
So we broke up, you know.
That was an old different story, but. Yeah. We got there, and then I'm not gonna get into it here. If you want to, you can do it. But basically, the team broke up, and that's when I kind of when you were out, I kind of quit. So something happened. Like 2-3 trainers, they go their own ways, and stuff happens. And also, I was at the end of my studies, and I needed to make money, work. Stuff, and I had an opportunity to do, career-wise some smart moves, but it was like hard to combine. And also, after this all happened, so when we were at Ushikomi, I had the OV card, the student public transport for free, and also the parking wasn't as expensive there as it was later at Tussen de Bogen, and also. After that, I went a little bit with rumor to some small street near Leidseplein. I don't remember the street name. But there, the parking was insane, and I was broke basically because I just and then you pay 5-6 euros an hour for parking.
Guys, I think people that if you're watching this, if it's anywhere near Amsterdam and you have to park, people like you have no idea how ridiculous some of these places are.
So that happened, and I just started training less and less. And one day I just up and quit. I just was like, this is it.
You got injured also?
I got a little bit injured also.
Yeah.
My leg, and then I was like, all right, this is it. I'm just gonna focus on making money. So I did that for like, how many years? About 4 years. About 4 years. Then so we're talking to. 2010, 11, I toned it down a little bit, and by the time I up and quit, it was I think 2013.
Yeah, something like
13, 14, something like that. So 2013. So I quit like real serious training, and what I did is I did like drop-in class, and I trained like maybe once a week, once every other week in a gi for a while, like for like 6 months, and then I'm like. This isn't it. And then I just quit, you know? And then, so that must have been end 2014. No. End 2013. Something 2013, 14. And then I quit for a few years. My leg was also injured. Back in the day, I was not only training grappling, but also kickboxing because it was good for MMA. And then I injured my leg during kickboxing. and then stuff got really hard for me to do. Just like basic movements were hard.
Knee especially.
Yeah, knee. And then what happened is, so after not training grappling at all for a long time, I saw there was a Leandro Lo seminar at ATC. I knew you had a new gym and everything, and Leandro, and I'm like, I believe I called him and I was like, I want to do, go. So I dropped by and went. There. And I haven't trained at all. And I remember the seminar was fun. It was gi. I don't remember the specific moves and techniques and whatever. But the funny thing was, at the end, everybody stood in a line and they got the roll with Leandro Lo. Yeah. And what he did is he based his intensity off your belt level. So there was the black belt, the white belts were all the way in the back, like me, because I was a white belt. I had any belt, shootouts, MMA, so didn't do belts. So I was in the back. I was the last guy in. Like there was a small girl before me. She got the roll before. All right, because she had a stripe on her belt or whatever. But it was an old judo gi and it was a judo white belt. I put it on wrong and it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, I finally got the roll with him, and he was like putting it. So the brown belts he put like a little bit more intensity, and then the purple was a little bit less. And the white belts he let them. He wasn't like trying to destroy everybody. He was like teaching you. He was rolling you to teach you. So if you're a white belt, he toned it all the way down. You could feel it. But I came in with a white belt. So immediately I go for a double underpass, and I could see in his eyes like, is this a white belt? And then he swept me and he put up the intensity, and obviously he destroyed me easily. But he gave a look, and other people also looked at me like, something's off,
Some bullshit really is happening.
Something's off, but I thanked them. But I was like, oh, this is fun. Maybe I should grapple again. But I still was dealing with the leg injury. So then I tried to do. I think a few months passed, and then I tried to do MMA a few times. Yeah. Then I re-injured my leg. I re-injured it, and then then months passed. And then after that,
2016, you came back.
And then
your knee got
my knee got better, and I think I don't know if it was mid 2016. Like July 2016, I started again, and now we're here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
Wow. Man, there's two things. Like there's something that I realized that doesn't happen anymore in seminars. Like the older guys, like the more old school guys in seminars, at the end of the seminar, all right, line up, let's fight. It happened. They used to do that, like the champions. They used to like really.
They used to do that.
And then nowadays it doesn't happen that much anymore. They usually give the seminar and they're like, flight, we're tired. I understand that completely.
I think for themselves it's safer not to
roll with
people, because a lot of people are like, I'm gonna.
Leandro, I've met him in a seminar. That dude is crazy. Super nice guy. Super like humble and stuff and quiet. A little bit crazy too, like us. But he would roll with anybody for anything. For anything.
He just loves fighting.
Rodolfo Vieira, the Miao brothers, they do the same thing. The Miao brothers, doesn't matter how big you are, the moment they say like, okay, end of the seminar, we roll, so I can explain literally how everything works.
And I remember Leandro Lo was really nice too, because like I said, he rolled based on your perceived skill level, so he took it really easy on some people. He was like really trying to teach you, not just murder you. But then I tried a double on the pass. I did get murdered, but that's a different story. But
I have a fun story with Miaos. The Miaos went over to Belgium and they gave a class there, and I remember that at a certain point we got to roll. No, I got to roll with them in Brazil then afterwards, because on that day I couldn't. And I was blue. No, I was purple. So the intensity was okay, but the thing is, like, the moment the match started, they started like immediately completely guarded and holding everything, thinking I would smash, and I sat down with him. And they like already looked at me like Jean was like, what the hell is he said? So he's trying to stand up, and the moment he stood up, I snapped in the berimbolo. And I'm 110 kilos. When he saw that berimbolo coming, like the whole intensity and the whole thing changed. I saw him smile, look at his brother, and go like. And then fucking hell happened. His small guy, he reverted my betting. It was chaos. I just ended up tapping every single time. Like choke, he got my back every single time, and rear naked choked me every single time in the gi. It was ridiculous. ridiculous. He's like a whole nother meow, like less heavy than me.
Yes.
It's like
the two brothers can fight you at the same time.
The two brothers, we'd be at the same like weight level and stuff like that, but outside of that, it's like, but they fought everybody. If there are 20 people in line, they fight the 20 people. They don't care.
But it's the old school mentality, man.
Yeah. It has its benefits, but also had its downfalls. Because you have some crazy people who it will hit you.
Yeah, but they reached it through that. I have to give them a lot of respect because they literally reached it by overtraining constantly, which is ridiculous if you think about it.
Of course, man. We back in the days, I sound like an old guy, but back in the days we were training our asses off, man. Like, if you look at it now, you're like, no,
it was
man,
stupid shit.
It was just stupid, man.
We would spar for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah. And you know, it makes you strong. You know, that's true. But you have to never forget your rest. You know, your resting period. You know, it's really important.
There's something to it. I think
recover. You need to recover.
There's something to it. There's something to it because I look at them and I look at the other guys that like trained in like the poorer parts of Brazil.
Yeah.
And the poor, like people that are in situations like, okay, jiu-jitsu is my get out ticket from shit situation. So let me do this as much as it means. They were crazy. Yeah. I went to this Cicero Costa thing. They were like training. When I got there, they were training. When we left for lunch, they were training. When we got back, they were already doing drills. Yeah. And that was the whole thing. And then in the evening, I remember them having a discussion with each other. Because I believe I'm sorry if I'm wrong, guys, but I believe they're a little bit autistic. They have to be. And they were doing like 500 leg entries. And the other brother, when it was his turn, did 501 leg entries. Then the first brother got mad that he did one more than him and did another 500. And so to equalize, like and the other one had to stop at 499 or else it wouldn't be a 1,000. So I was like, because they didn't want to like, if you do X amount, I have to do X amount. So if you go one over, you ruined it for me. I was listening to this discussion.
But
I'm
if
like,
you fight, you have to be a little bit crazy.
This is like crazy talk.
Yeah, you have to be a little bit crazy.
We're a little bit crazy.
To do that game.
Yeah, man. You said you had a funny story about the ego stuff.
I had a funny story about the ego stuff. So actually, I consider Rafles like my first teacher, but in like real teacher. But it's not my first MMA class I took. Because this is the funny story. I was 8. How old was I when I walked in the gym? Like 19 or 20 or something.
Yeah, something.
And but at 17 and 18, I was doing, and I don't want to offend anybody, I was doing Kung Fu. Wing Chun Kung Fu, and I thought I could beat up anybody.
I didn't do, man. Don't
I thought in my mind,
if it's like, good enough for Bruce Lee,
it's good enough for me. Like in my mind, I was like, all right, every one of these Kung Fu guys, Wing Chun guys that has training longer than me, of course they can whoop me. But other than that, I thought in the street, any boxer, in my mind, I could beat up everybody else from any other style. That was in my mind. And then reality happened. So one day I remember doing the Kung Fu training, and one day a guy says to me like, you know, there's this thing called mixed fighting. I'm like, what's that? Every people from different styles and they just fight. And I'm like, then what's the rules?
That's sport.
And I was like, I think I saw a movie about this with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Is it like illegal underground fight? No, it's just
you have to
people.
Be invited.
And then I'm like, all right. Then I saw like an ad. I'm like, that's interesting. I'm like, you know what? Let's watch. Because I already. I'm like, oh, that's that UFC thing. Because I already watched the first MMA I saw was not UFC. It was Mark Kerr versus Fabio Gurgel in World Vale Tudo. I don't remember the name of the event. All I remember is Mark Kerr holding down Fabio Gurgel like did for 15 minutes and kneeing him in the face repeatedly. I'm like,
that was brutal.
And I'm like, it's that thing.
Savage.
But in my mind, that's never gonna work on me because I know Kung Fu. So that's in my mind. Again, now I know it sounds ridiculous now, but I'm like, all these guys rolling on the ground. I'm here. I'm gonna stand and fight like a man with my Kung Fu. So I went to this class in Almere, is a town I live in still, and there was a guy who was teaching basic. It was an MMA class, but it was more like sprawl and brawl, like defend the takedown and strike a bit, and we learned like a rear naked choke in an armbar or something. And I think you know him. It's Hans Vos, not Johan Vos the kickboxer, but Hans Vos, the really tall, bald Yeah. So he was doing
sprawl and brawl.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
No, but it was more like this. So I learned a little bit, and I did it for like a few weeks, or maybe I had 8 classes, and I thought the sprawl combined with my Wing Chun Kung Fu would get me the win. And then I went and I fought.
You went to a fight?
Yeah, I went to a fight. It was the lowest level fight, so you still had the headgear. Remember the Shooto C+?
Was it a Shooto fight?
Yeah, it was a Shooto. It was before I met you. I had one Shooto fight.
Was it with the you have to have like shin protection?
Yeah. It was the lowest. So that one I did.
Oh.
So
that's what they did a long time in France.
So you know what happened? The fight starts. I jump in. I do my and the guy just looks at me. He goes. He double legs me. And I'm like, why is he not falling? I'm keeping punching. He took me down. And I was on my back the whole match. And then I lost on points.
That was it.
And I'm like, man,
I need to learn
this stuff. So I looked it up. I watched more. I watched UFC and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start this MMA thing. And there weren't that many like good MMA schools back then. Yeah. So
it's new.
Yeah, I asked around, and then I knew what the. Then I heard about Shooto, Japanese MMA, and I knew it because at one point at the Japan Vale Tudo Champions, Hickson fought Yuki Nakai.
Yeah, Yuki Nakai.
Yeah.
I trained with him.
Yeah. And Yuki Nakai, and Yuki Nakai was a Shooto guy, and I remember I saw that guy, I believe he got eye poked in the fight before.
Yeah, against Gerard
Godot. Yeah. And he just bit through, and he fought in the finals against Hickson, and he lost against Hickson. But he just
it's a little smaller card.
Small guy.
Yeah. Back then there were no weight classes.
I remember this.
So and I'm like, all right, that guy's a badass, because if you can, all right, he lost, but first of all, I didn't know that it was that severe, but you could see on just watching that his eye was messed up. He was really small. He was fighting bigger guys. Hickson was also physically more strong than him, right? He was fighting big guys, and he didn't give a F because he did it. He fought. It was really cool. So I'm like, all right, then there wasn't much Gracie jiu-jitsu back then around. I'm like, well, second place in that tournament against that guy is good enough for me. I'm gonna learn the style. And then I saw I don't know where I saw it, but I saw somewhere that there were classes there, and then I walked into the gym, and that's it. Yeah. And after that, I'm like, oh, this is real MMA. And then I quit the other guy's classes. He closed up shop anyway, because there was not a lot of people in Almere interested back then. And I've been training with Rafles ever since. So I already had one you can barely call it a fight, but one match before I met Rafles.
Yeah.
And it was bad.
But that's good, that's motivation.
Yeah. But I really thought I could whoop everybody's ass with my Kung Fu.
Me too, man.
Ever think about going back to Wing Chun? For the fun of it?
I shit you not.
You have the dummy.
No. I used to have one in my schuur, how do you say?
The wooden.
In my shed. Yeah, I in my shed. I had one that I gave it to someone else. He wasn't totally into it, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna take people down now. Give away flat books. But what is interesting is you say ever go back. I still use some of it.
Really?
Yeah, because you should view it more as they have this thing called chisao, like sticky hands, but actually some of it translates really well into grip fighting.
I know what you mean when they're doing the exercise.
So some things I do with I don't use it like but let's say seated guard, and the guy's on his knee and I'm in seated guard. Some grips, some things that I do. It's actually it comes from there. So and it sounds weird. It works, man. The thing.
I know, man. It works, man. Nobody does it, but he does it. And I'm like, shit.
And then your arm is stuck.
You're like, and then you pull out your arm and you're trapped like, oh shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
it's mixed martial grappling now. So you mixing up stuff.
Maybe, but
I mean, just mix it up.
Yeah, but it works. It's like not everything, of course, but some.
Hey, but if one thing works, that's a lot already. That's one thing. That's perfect.
Well, it should. Then at least I didn't waste all those years.
Yeah, man. Well,
yeah. So yeah, that's a funny story. So that's the reason I got into Rafles gym, and that's the reason this journey started, because I got my ass whooped thinking I would whoop everybody with my kung fu.
Damn, yeah, man. Getting your ass whooped is.
I think it's also good. I think it's also good if you not only if you get your ass whooped, but specifically if you do more than one thing. Yeah. Like if you only do jiu-jitsu and only do grappling and only do stuff, but if you have like already a background, like I punch too and I kick too and I stand up, so you get a whole vision of what fighting is.
I actually think that we were talking about this, I believe, a few days ago. Like for me, it's backwards. Like a lot of people, they learn jiu-jitsu or wrestling, whatever. They learn jiu-jitsu, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, and then okay, let's get into MMA. And then the jiu-jitsu, I'm not gonna say it doesn't work, but they're having trouble translating it to MMA because you get punched in the face. And for me, it was actually the other way around. So first I'm like, oh, this is hard, I'm getting punched in the face. And then it's like, oh, I'm no longer getting punched in the face. Now I can do this and this and this. It's so much more fun.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, not everyone, but a lot of grappling guys or jiu-jitsu guys, they're like, yeah, you know, my style's the best, and if I get in a fight, MMA, I would just grapple the guy down and I will win.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't work.
It's a different world, man.
It's a different world, yeah.
And that's the whole thing, you know. Like jiu-jitsu as a sport and grappling as a sport, it's really effective and it works. But if you get into an MMA fight or maybe a street fight with punches, kicks, elbows, it's different, man.
You gotta get it in.
It's real different.
You gotta understand that part.
Yeah.
So I think I always say, for me, it's a great benefit that I started with the full spectrum.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing.
Yeah,
you first started with the
and
whole
then
thing,
and also
doing fights also.
So really, doing fights and also like, even if I had never done the fights, just training with punches on the ground, and training with wrestling while punching, because even Greco-Roman style, even getting underhooks and tripping somebody is different when the guy in the middle of it is gonna uppercut you. It's different.
And especially when you know that he can uppercut.
Yeah.
If you know, okay, he can uppercut, you're like,
No.
But if you know, oh, maybe he's gonna hit me.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gonna knee me. Then it's a different mindset.
It's a different mindset and different game.
There's one thing I wish they would bring in, and that is, it sounds brutal and maybe not wrong, but headbutts.
No, if you do headbutts, Mark Coleman would still be world champion. No, really. But like, he took you down, and now he's in your guard, and this is the perfect strategy. You control the biceps, and then you go headbutt, and then he has to do this, and he blocks this, and then you go hook, and then he blocks his face, and then he blocks the hook again, and then you go headbutt, and then you beat everybody with it.
I think it's a legitimate technique. It's legitimate.
Who wants to see that?
I mean, but look at also Letway. If you look at Letway, they have like beautiful headbutt moments. But then again, if you bring it into MMA, I don't know if it would be fun to have it too, just to have the clinches and the wrestling change a little bit.
But my philosophy is, if you bring in, first of all, you're talking headbutts, but let's start knees to a downed opponent first. If you do knees to a downed opponent, if somebody has side control on you, you're dead.
Yep.
That's one. Let's start there. And then if you bring headbutts into MMA, then closed guard doesn't exist anymore.
That's true.
Yeah, I think it's gonna fuck up the sport.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It would, but only in a very tight, clinchy way. So the only reason you could have a closed guard is if you have that head of his and it's completely locked in with something, and then
but still, and then I agree with you. But then what happens?
Yeah,
can you move yourself?
No, then they're gonna get smashed.
So it's either gonna be very boring to watch, or the ref's gonna stand you up because your clinch on the guy is so tight and he's just trying to grind you with his head.
He can't move,
and then he stands you up.
It will kill the fight.
Yeah, it will kill the fight to watch, you know. But I believe this is something I say also in grappling. Like, some people have a lot of jiu-jitsu guys. First of all, a lot of my grappling is not jiu-jitsu. This is weird that I say that, but I specifically call it Shuto because it's also a different mindset, and it
feels different.
It is different because I remember talking to a guy. I was in a camp in Iceland not too long ago, and the guy's like we were talking like, yeah, I'm not that great at passing close guard, but I can shut it down, you know. It was like, yeah, what do you mean? They're gonna do this? I'm like, all right, let's roll. And the guy couldn't believe that I did nothing. All I did is keep my head in the center and grind him up. Put my forehead against his jaw, and just control his biceps, and just went like this. And everything he tried, and I wasn't trying to get out of his guard, and he hadn't experienced that before.
It's horrible.
I'm like, I'm not gonna get out. I'm gonna hurt you. And we're gonna stay here for 8 minutes. You're gonna be dead tired, and then I'm gonna try to get out.
Yeah. You change when you change the whole perspective of what something is, and that is something that happened with heel hooks, especially. It changed the whole game. And the same thing that you did, it happened to me once. The most stupid thing. I was a brown belt already going into black. This other guy went into my guard, pulled my gi open, wrapped it, like did exactly what you just said, but with the gi instead of grabbing my biceps. And I was trying to move him, but he was just grinding his forehead.
He wasn't trying to get it.
And I was like, this, and I was looking around like, this is, and they were like, let go, let him pass, or like lift him over, throw him up. I said, you can't move. You can't move. Your head is here, and the chin is under. And then he just wrapped my gi around my neck and pulled it. And I was like,
no, but
did I just tap to this ridiculous piece? No.
So in no-gi, that doesn't result in a tap, but it results in the fact that now we're not doing jiu-jitsu anymore. But which is good. I like to implement against typical jiu-jitsu guys. I use this strategy a lot, and they're like, "Yeah, you're not getting past my guard." And I'm like, "Are you in pain?" Yes. Do I look tired? No, I'm winning.
That's the thing. But I think that's the whole thing. You know, if you're in a certain style, you know, you're doing with a lot of people. You're in a bubble, doing one thing, and then you're like, "Okay, this is effective," and then an outsider comes in and he does some crazy stuff like, fuck man, it works. It's not our game, but it works, you know, so why won't you use that also? Like, if it works, like the kung fu stuff he does, you can laugh about kung fu, but if it works, just use it, man. If it's effective, just use it.
And what's also funny is, you know that typical side control where you have the 4 points, you know? I've never done that in my life. I cannot do it.
No.
I just use the way he taught me side control.
I also do a lot of anti-jiu-jitsu, to be honest.
So
I really play since I was training, you know, with Martijn and all the guys. I play a different game, man. It's like unorthodox. If it works, I use it. If it works, I use it, man. I like jiu-jitsu, you know. I like wrestling, but a lot of stuff I just do different, man.
So a lot of stuff, and since I was taught by him, a lot of stuff like normal side. I don't do that typical side control you see. I just don't. I just do it the way he does, which is a little bit different. I don't believe in having both, you know, the thing where you have both knees. I don't. You have to stretch one out, sprawl your hip low. That's what he always told me, hip low. So I'm like, all right, do this. And so it's not really like by your top game. So by extension, also my top game. It's not jiu-jitsu.
No. It's something else.
Something else.
No. So,
but it works. So it would be like considered grappling.
It's grappling. But you won't see it in a typical like jiu-jitsu class.
No, if you want to learn real jiu-jitsu, you don't have to train with me, man.
No,
because I have a mix of a lot of stuff that just works. You know, it's not.
And I think it should be part. I mean, if you like, I don't saying that it should be part of jiu-jitsu. It should be part of your whole martial arts upbringing. You mix things up. Absolutely. I realized that problem once I finally got the ability, because it's very frowned upon if you touch somebody's foot and you're under brown belt in traditional jiu-jitsu. And people go like, what are you doing? That's not allowed. You can't do it.
Now you're a zapatero.
Zapatero, safado. They'll just throw like...
Porra.
And they'll just... And once you actually start doing it, then you feel like, okay, now I'm restarting everything. I have to relearn this whole thing. I spent like 5 years not doing it, and now suddenly I'm thrown into it. Figure it out. And the amount of like brown belts and black belts you can still catch with like footlocks is ridiculous because they don't train it.
If you don't train it,
I do believe. So what I don't get, I do believe that maybe certain leg locks you should not train from day one. But to wait all the way until but not wait all all the way until
6 years into
belt.
a game before.
Yeah, maybe wait 1 year.
And then start.
Doing
I think,
it.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But 6 years?
I changed my perspective on that completely. I do it. If a white belt is in there, I won't teach it to him, but I'll hold it. I'll catch something. I'll hold it and show it, you know, and like, oh, there's also this, and there's also wrist locks, and don't forget that
it's a big spectrum.
I'm not also going to give up on neck cranks. They're beautiful. Yeah. Keep them too, you know. But it's the more you like restrict stuff and tell them not to do shit.
Yeah, because you have to know how to cope with a neck crank or a leg lock, you know, ankle lock or something like that. If you don't train that,
that is something I got used to in getting neck cranked.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him.
Chokes, neck cranks, everything.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. Beautiful. It's beautiful. Once I started like opening up and saying like, no, there's no illegal technique. Just don't pull people's finger or something or poke somebody.
I do believe there's certain things you shouldn't do on certain people. Like you shouldn't do somebody's first 3 weeks of training.
Yeah, I go like twister.
You should probably not twister him. You know, stuff like that.
But I will, and that's something.
If it hurts, step.
Yeah.
Oh, too late, man.
What I usually do is wrist locks. I will. Wrist locks on the first.
They're funny, man. They're like,
this works. What the fuck? Steven Seagal was right.
Yes.
They call it boko poach, yeah. That's boko poach.
Yeah. Steven Seagal was right. Who knew?
He was right, man. All the time.
All this time.
Yeah, there's stuff you have to give it time, but I wouldn't restrict anybody from learning the full spectrum of like catch. I'm into catch as in catch can. I'm reading. I'm reading as much as I can on it. I'm studying this stuff. It's amazing.
Catch wrestling is amazing.
It's amazing.
It is, man. Underestimated.
I love Josh Barnett now. It was a head crank or something like that. I saw him doing the championship in his speedos, and I was like, I love this man. This doughy big guy from the United States just like he fucked up Din Leicester.
Yeah. But you know what's funny about catch wrestling? So you have catch wrestling is like a name for multiple arts originating in like UK, basically. You have the most
snake pit, right?
Yeah, the most common and probably known catch wrestling is Lancashire catches catch can.
That and Worcestershire.
Lancashire catches catch can, and that's Snake Pit. That's in Wigan. They still exist, by the way. And
that is the famous group.
Yeah, so from Wigan came Billy Riley and Billy Robinson. Billy Robinson traveled to Japan and taught legitimate catch wrestling skills to show wrestlers, so that fake wrestling, which was big in Japan. But all those fake wrestlers in Japan, they were taught legitimate fighting techniques, so they legitimately sparred.
Which became...
No, and then one of those fake wrestlers, his wrestling name was Tiger Mask, he started Shuto.
That's the one.
So Shuto's catch wrestling.
And now he's in Tekken, right? He's the inspiration for Tekken.
Yeah, he's the inspiration
for Tekken. Yeah, I know. Tiger Mask became famous.
Yeah, so and he started Shuto.
Yeah.
And from there is that because everybody talks about UFC, but the first Shuto event was 1 year before the first UFC.
Yeah, they were a little bit,
Antonio Inoue was also one of those, right?
Yeah, he's
show wrestler.
Inoki is like a student from that first breed of.
Yeah, the first.
Or you mean
Antonio Inoki.
Oh yeah.
He's also.
And that came over, but then if you think about it, that came over here. That shoulder came over here to the Netherlands pretty damn fast.
Wow.
No, I think because my training was. He had a fight in Judo. I think 1996 or something. No, 97 I think. Yeah, I think 1997, and he had a click, with the organization, and he won over there, and he was like one of the only outsiders, from Europe that ever won over there. So yeah, they got a click, and he wanted to promote Judo in Europe, in Holland, and then. He got the okay from them. They were like, yeah, you can do that. You can be a representative for Judo in Holland. And I was also, working with him to get some events, you know, to run some events over here, organize some events. So then we started in, I think 1999, but I think in 2000 we started. Yeah, I think in December 2000 we started to do a Judo on tour.
Yes.
It was like an amateur.
And it was
amateur event, and that was like 6 events in 1 year, and then we went to different cities in Holland. Amateur fighters could fight judo.
Yes, and you did that. You did that in 2001 and 2002 as well, and that's where I got that first ass whooping I talked about.
Yeah. So then it came to Europe, and after that it went. Some German promoters started, and Sweden, you know, and at the moment it's not that
big anymore.
It's not that big anymore, but that's the
you guys started.
But the time got the approval from.
It's something weird. I mean, it seems that everything you guys touch slowly turns into gold. I mean, that became
true, man.
No, but that Shoto stuff grew.
Yeah, but you know what it is?
It
got
became
swallowed.
glory.
It got swallowed.
It got swallowed.
By MMA.
UFC, MMA.
Yeah, by MMA, the MMA term in general, because a lot of people, and I guess you still wear the Shuto logo and stuff like that, but it's also like, and I don't fault you for it, but you'll still promote it under MMA because that's the most recognizable name.
If you talk about Judo,
nobody knows what you're talking about.
Then people
they think you're talking about Shotokan Karate or something.
Something like that, yeah. So I also use the term MMA now more.
Yeah.
And people that are close, you know, like members that are like hardcore members, they know it's like Judo style we do, but it's also on the website. But the advertisement is like learn MMA, learn Judo because. Yeah.
So that's also the name got swallowed, you know.
Yeah,
so
it's turned into shoot fighting, and then it got away, and then
it's still there. You know, the Judo organization is still there. They do events like last year. Durume Nasato was in Amsterdam.
Oh man,
he was one of the first guys that was stepping everybody out on leg locks, because the Judo style first was all about a lot of leg locks.
Yes.
And I also was doing a lot of leg locks, but when I got injured on my knee got injured, I was a little bit hesitant to do that. Then I lost a little bit the skill to do that. But they started really tapping out bigger guys, you know, with the leg locks, flying arm bars. That was really Judo, man.
Yeah. So I loved it. Yeah.
And then that.
Yeah, I remember when
we did a lot of leg locks back then, you know.
Because Abe Ani also came.
Yeah, man.
And you don't know if you don't know, he has like this big AACC Abe Ani combat club. In Japan, it's really big. It's one of the biggest Japanese grappling school ever. And they Megumi Fuji is also from there, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but Barnett trains with those guys and stuff every time he's in Japan. But they're really good. And I remember he came in with one of his students. I believe one of his students was gonna fight Oktai.
Yeah.
I believe his name. I don't know the name. I think it was Watanabe. But one of his students. He came. They came and they thought like for like a week or 2 weeks, but they were here, and then his guy was gonna fight Oktai. I think it went badly for him because Oktai is a beast. I don't remember the result.
I'm not sure the result, man.
But I remember, and they were like all about like most of the stuff they thought was like leg locks. And I'm like, what is this? This small Asian man's hugging my leg. Get away from me! And I'm like, all right. And that's when I saw like, all right, there's
a lot of potential.
There's a lot of potential in it. I didn't understand it enough back then, but I already saw like, all right, this has some good stuff. And then after that, I got deeply into knee bars, and I was the guy that at the tournament was just. From standing, just jumping straight into rolling
knee
crap. Go for a knee. Yeah, I remember that.
It worked, man.
Sometimes
people were like, what's this?
It's not jiu-jitsu, it's cheating.
Yeah, it's not jiu-jitsu, man. No, this is man. It works. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's when I got into that, and then so Shuto already had it wasn't that developed as it is now.
No.
But
it was like a starting point.
Yeah, diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
So they already had a lot of good stuff. So that's when I got into leg locks as well. But even though I liked leg locks back then, I was just in an armbar phase. Like that was years and years. I remember I didn't even try anything else. Like I do some of the leg locks, I train them, but even in sparring I wouldn't like leg lock anymore. But then I'd go to the tournament and do some crazy leg locks. And sometimes it works and sometimes it didn't.
That's what tournaments are for. Jumping, doing weird shit.
And then let's see. Yeah, and then I kind of developed a love for arm bars, and that lasted for many years.
Yeah. Armbar triangle, but we did a lot of arm bars and triangles back then.
Yeah, man. I got at one point I had a good triangle. I think my triangle now is worse than it is back then because I'm not doing enough triangles.
Yeah, still.
But it's a little bit of warm up, and I think it's always gonna be there. It's only a bit of a timing. There's a timing thing. Like after Corona, I realized it. I came back to like my timing isn't there yet. But
I have the same.
After the Corona, my timing is just off. It's just a little bit off. It's getting closer.
Speed and timing is off. It's off. It's normal. It's gonna get.
But if you don't train for like 4 or 5 months, it's normal.
Yeah.
You have to
wait another 4 or 5 months before it's back, or you go longer.
I remember we were talking about triangles. I remember one time I triangled the guy and he threw up on me.
Oh, that never happened, man.
Yeah.
I passed out a few times.
That happened to me too. But it wasn't a triangle, but it happened to me. What was your story?
Really?
Yeah. It was at grappling aid, the Dutch nationals. And I fought the guy later. He beat me in Shoutouts. It was I think his name is Gerben. I don't remember his name, but I triangled him, and I think he ate too shortly before, and he just threw up on my rashi. And the horrible thing was I only had one rashi, so I had to go wash the throw up off it, dry it, and go with the same nasty shirt to grapple the next guy.
That's dirty.
I had a singular problem of always being the big guy and all my teachers being small.
Yeah.
And at that time, there wasn't like any body awareness for that. They didn't like, you're big, you're small, you learn the same jiu-jitsu, everybody. Adult things don't, that's how I got into like doing berimbolos and doing weird inverted stuff and everything like that, because there wasn't other things I learned. Like if the teacher said do this, I'd do it, you know, I just keep doing it until it works for me. But then my mind changed when I went to Brazil. And I was like researching stuff because I was unsatisfied. My shit wasn't working and everybody else's shit was, you know. And then then I found a beautiful move called like the scorpion, where you have somebody in closed guard, they come forward and you hug your own legs behind them, and then you squeeze.
I know you almost break the ribs.
And that is the rib.
Yeah, I was able. Did it with me in a fight, man.
It's a horrible feeling, right?
Man, I never felt it. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yes, it squeezes everything together. The thing was, I always had long legs, so my reach doesn't matter who it was. I could always go with that. So I worked once. It worked twice. So I said, I'm doing this at the next tournament. And I went to the next tournament, a bit bigger guy, so I really had to reach. But I reached and I locked it in, and he was like, I'm gonna Ezekiel you or something. You know, he was training here, he was doing that. Got it in, stretched my leg out, pressed, and he went like, and vomited next to my ear because his head was right here. And I just felt the water just coming. And then they tapped, I had like vomit everywhere, I smelled the vomit. Now, I have a sympathetic stomach, which means if you vomit next to me, I'll feel sympathy towards you. I'm not gonna say I'm a pussy, I'm gonna say I have a sympathetic stomach. So if you vomit next to me, I'll feel sympathized and vomit too. That was a vomit fest because he vomited. I was like, he lifted my arm up. I ran to the judges' table, took it, put everything, and every time I smelled it, something came up in it. That was the most horrible competition I ever went to in my life.
Horrible. That's crazy, man.
Man. I think that's somewhere on film too. I'll find it. It's
like
a pool of vomit next to my ear.
Yeah. Oh, that's horrible.
I left. I had 3 more fights to go. I said, bye, my day's ruined. And that's not gonna work anymore. Yeah, guys,
But it's a dirty technique. Or not dirty, but it's a surprising technique.
Man, it's interesting.
I didn't know it was scorpion, man. But it hurts.
I found it somewhere, somebody doing it from triangle. So you do a triangle and you can't close because they hide their hand behind you. They start doing it and then you do it. So you get the knee and the elbow and you just squeeze it all the way through. But I was like, can I do it on somebody's ribs? And then I tried it and I seen that somebody else already kind of did it. And I said, oh, this works.
It works, man.
Man, people just go,
You can really injure your ribs.
Yeah, like you said, like you changed your mind that there's not like everything in jiu-jitsu works for everybody, right?
Yeah.
I think body type and stuff matters.
Yeah.
But I do think like if you have certain core principles, you can make it work. So I can say put your foot here. I can say put your foot here, behind somebody's knee, or I can say whatever you do, make sure this side of his knee is blocked.
Yeah.
If I say the latter, then you'll find a way to put your shin, your hand somewhere there without compromising on other key principles, and then you'll do it. Yeah,
it's all about mechanics. You know?
You have to find the right mechanics.
If you know what you have to do to the other person, but the other person can't do to escape, move, or lock.
So that's all about mechanics, and I think a lot of jiu-jitsu is taught in what I call Rolodex jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah, now we're doing this.
What I mean is, you do technique 71. My mental Rolodex goes boom. That means counter 101. You cannot do that. Your brain cannot function that way. So you need, like, instead of for move X, do move technique or defense Y. Instead of that. Or for his escape X, you do.
That's one of the reasons why I believe that John Danaher. I hate dude because you can talk normally and he just goes like send side to the other. He makes his I fall asleep if I watch him.
Yeah, he's a genius, you know. But
but he did systemize it. He did explain.
But he gives you ideologies.
Yes, he gives you it's a concept. You know,
he gives you concepts. He teaches concepts, and from the concepts you figure it out.
Yeah. So that's what I believe that you should do.
Yeah,
but that's also the hardest way to teach, by the way. It's easy to say, oh, today
it's hard to grasp for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do this.
So I jokingly say a lot that I'm a sucky teacher. I suck teaching jiu-jitsu. But the reason I say that is because, and you've seen me try this. I try to explain to somebody what they need to do. Like, oh, Raoul, I've seen you do this, so explain this to me. And I try to explain it, but then they want to know the move.
Yeah, all the steps. Step 1.
Yeah. And I tell them the move is not important. Make sure you do this, and then you can do whatever you want. And then they don't get it.
It just doesn't hit their body.
It doesn't hit. And then I'm like, all right.
But I also think you need to have reached a certain level to grasp that, you know. Otherwise, if you're just beginning to, you know that. I know. What the fuck are you talking about? I just want to learn. Okay, where do I have to put my foot? Where do I have to?
But then they know. Yeah. For that particular scenario, where to put their foot. And what to do.
In another scenario, they cannot.
But then I change my angle for this.
And then it's gone.
And then they don't know what to do.
There's the same mechanics involved, but they don't.
But if I try to teach you the mechanics, you'll be set in any situation. But that's the hardest thing to learn.
Yeah, that's also the same thing that I try to do.
I feel a little bit of success when I go for I explain the traditional armbar. From close guard, separate the arm, grab shoulder, bring him down, pendulum, armbar. And I explained that let's do that 10 times, just step by step. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And then I told them, but do you guys realize that if you only isolate the shoulder, you already have an armbar? You don't have to pendulum, you don't have to lock anybody down, you have to isolate that shoulder, pull the arm. They're gonna tap. Or they're gonna break. And they go then why did you teach all the steps? I said, because then they have to explain to somebody, you wouldn't get it if I didn't. So the right way to teach is the concept way, but if you don't do the steps, then you're wrong. You'll never get to the concept.
You need the steps, and then after that,
I still have problems with that. I still bullshit. I still fuck around. The people say me, how do I get out of a triangle? I said, don't get in it. That's the best.
That's the best.
Just don't get in it.
Just don't get in it.
There are certain points in your game that if you're there, it's down.
Too late, man.
Go home.
Game over.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes that's the same thing that. When you get trapped in, Raoul is ankle lock, you know?
Yeah, it's
really deep.
It's
and somebody asked me, how can I escape? Bro, don't get in there. You're already over there, you're done.
You're done.
There's no escape possible.
There's
it's like you're dead and then you ask me, how can I come back to life? It's done, man.
It's like
he did that shit to me. He put me in an ankle lock. But 2 or 3 times they were deep, and then that transition to a heel hook, and then I was like, okay, so next round, the moment that he does the ashi and does the heel hook stuff, I'll just put my foot back. And I said, why is he leaving me room to do that? Inside Senkaku shit, heel hook, knee, oh damn, all right, let's go a couple more times. Let's see what happens.
But that's the thing. That's also for people that just are starting with MMA. They're there's a way out for everything, but that's not the truth. Sometimes it's the same thing when somebody hits me in the face and I have no defense, how can I defend? It's impossible, man. You're gonna get hit.
It's like somebody, I was like, yeah, how can I escape this? And it was a full rear naked choke with the body lock in. I'm like,
you're done.
And not even that he had the hands, he was like this. And how do I escape from here? And I'm like, there's one thing that will guarantee that you escape.
Sleep.
Tap.
Fall asleep.
Fall asleep. No, but you can't. It's too late. You know.
There's stuff out there that you can't.
Yeah.
That you guys have. There are perfect techniques out there, and if it's fully locked in, bye.
Yeah, if you have a fully locked in rear naked choke
without defenses, which makes it so scary if you think about it. That we as fighters are such a small little subculture of the actual society going around us. I mean, the probability you find somebody that did something is good. The probability you find somebody that is at a reasonable level or proficient level of grappling in the street.
Yes, but don't make the mistake, because the probability of you finding somebody that's somewhat proficient in kickboxing in this country is pretty high.
Yes, that's true.
So there's a lot of people that can punch and kick you in the face.
But how many can actually do the superpower, which is take somebody down and control them?
Not a lot. Man.
Not a lot, but if they punch you in the face,
that's true. I was having like a couple of discussions, like how scary would it be if you had to fight another jiu-jitsu guy
in the streets
and he had a knife.
Think about that. If someone has a knife, just run.
There's no way of going through it.
If you have a gun, a knife, or something, I had some street fights, in the past, and if somebody's reaching for something, I'm gone, man.
Yeah, you don't know because you.
The pens you left to draw on the chalking board.
Yeah.
You left at the thing. We were like, this is our knife. Let's see if jiu-jitsu works against knives. I colored somebody like completely.
Yeah,
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's a cool sport. It's a martial art.
But you have to be realistic, man. Yeah. If you want to use it in the streets, I was in a fight and I was attacked by a few guys, and I was able to triangle one of those guys, but he was not alone. So his friends started to try to kick me, and one hit me in the face. I almost broke my nose. And that's the whole thing. Some people are like in the gym, like, yeah, I'm the man, I can fight jiu-jitsu, I can, knock everybody out, choke everybody out. Please, man, be a little bit, be humble, man.
Yeah.
Be humble, be realistic.
There's always somebody that can whoop your ass.
There's a big bad world outside of the gym, and
one on one you're good, 1 on 3.
Sometimes I get like if you're outside and somebody talks trash, so some people, they just think they're badasses. And one guy, he was like, nothing happened. I guess he cut in line somewhere, and I let it go. I said, no, that's all. I said in Dutch, well, that's not nice, but I even let him cut. And
that's it. Yeah.
And then he came back and he started talking shit, and I looked at him. I'm like, he was lighter than I was. I'm like, either you have a gun, or you're crazy. Because I'm like, why would you do that? He was not physically impressive, but that doesn't mean anything. But I'm like,
there must be something.
It must be something but maybe he's just over.
A lot of people are just like, I can fight. They can't fight. Most people that can't fight, they're like, if he does this, I'm gonna knock him out. You cannot even fight, man.
It's not gonna happen.
Please, fuck up, man.
And then I was like, either this guy has a gun or a knife, or I'm gonna strangle him to death. and I'm like, which one is it? And then at a certain point, I realized, oh no. He just really thinks he can whoop everybody's ass. Because another guy, an older guy, who was like, 1 meter, 90 centimeters, he was way heavier than me. He also said to the kid, like, you shouldn't be this impolite,
Yeah.
And then he started talking shit against that guy, going like this. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'm not that big of a human. But that is a big human that's standing behind me.
That's half a Viking standing there.
And you're smaller than I am. So even like assuming all else is, you're gonna get your ass whooped, right? And I'm like, all right, some people just think they can whoop everybody's ass, whereas I like to go to the other side of the spectrum. I like the most unassuming people can whoop your ass.
That is true.
Yeah, that's most.
If you look at like how in boxing, I forgot his name, GGG.
Gennady Golovkin.
Oh my God! If you see him walking around, you're like, that's a nerd, and then you see him fight. Oh my God! Same thing with Lomachenko. If you like watch this skinny, small
like,
guy, looks like a normal
like
guy. Look a little bit like a model and stuff like that. But if you see them in the ring, you go like, oh no, oh no, oh no. There's people out there that if you look at them, you say, I'm not fucking with that ever, Badahari and stuff like that. You see them walking instead of.
Also the guy, the MMA fighter, Rory McDonald or something. You know, the guy that also looks like a nerd, man. You're like, I'm gonna fuck you up, man. Hey.
But
kill you, man.
I always say I am a nerd. Because I literally am.
You don't look like a fighter, man, but
oh, the ears. We pay attention. I see ears, I see scars. I said I'm not playing.
If you look at him on the street, you're not like he's gonna break my leg. You're like,
I can fuck him up.
I can fuck him up. Most people will think, but if you're close, you're done, man. It's like a Black Widow or something. If he grabs something,
if he bites, it's over.
It's over, man.
But
that's funny, man.
Yeah,
a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
But,
so I find it funny that you're the most unassuming people can like. So that's why you shouldn't underestimate anybody.
And the more dangerous they become, the more unassuming they become too. It becomes like this little camouflage nature evolution game.
No, but guys, I think it's like this. Let's say if you're young and you're physically strong, and you learn a little bit how to fight, you learn some boxing, some kickboxing, maybe a little bit of MMA.
You're gonna brag a little.
You think you're all that.
Yeah.
But the more you train, the older you get, the more ass whoopings you receive. The more you realize I ain't shit.
I'm gonna be
There's
quiet.
always a bigger guy.
Yeah, and then you tone down. You're
These
like,
guys, they need to drive back home like after a good sparring session in total silence. After you got your ass kicked, you know when you drive back home without then you drive back home without music or anything, just looking for just like hating every second.
Yeah.
It happened so many times.
I remember the first time that Marloes like dropped me with a body shot.
Yeah, she had me in armbar, man.
That was funny.
But Marloes is a beast too.
When I went training for the first time, I went to the gym and she was there too. And I think the first or the second time she got me in armbar, she was like 14. I was like 19 years old. I was like already a young man.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, come on, man. And she just got me an armbar, and when I went home, I was like, I need to know this shit.
I need to change my life.
Wow, man!
You can't get your ass whooped by a 14-year-old.
14-year-old girl, man. Like, hi,
Yeah.
You got me, man. Yo, you can break my arm if you like.
Yeah.
That's it.
That makes you humble. Then you realize I don't know shit. I have to learn a lot, and there's always something new to learn, and.
But I think that's true. The more you learn, the more you train, the more you know you don't know enough.
Yeah,
you just become quieter and nicer and more humble.
But also in your game, like I remember years ago when I thought I was good. And then you realize you're not. That's.
I was so happy. I'm somebody. I have a black belt, and then I started fighting people again. I was like, I am shit. I have to go right back to the gym. I have to go right back to the gym and start all over again.
I have to learn more. That's also the challenging, the challenging thing of fighting. That there's always something new. Yeah, you're never done.
I'm also constantly trying to develop. But I not only train, I try to figure out mechanics.
That's the thing.
And I like when I test stuff, I mostly test mechanics. I don't test specific techniques because I don't care about them. And it's a hard thing. I think the sport of grappling isn't at the unified consensus yet. What I mean is like boxing. It's been figured out in the sense that you can box like Floyd, you can box like Tyson, but the unified consensus of what can and cannot be done, it's already reached. The sport is
it's a young sport also, right?
No, but think about it. It's so close to getting everybody together. Like Senegal has their own wrestling style. Every single country. Iran has amazing wrestlers. Mongolia has their own shit. Japan full of their own.
But when I'm speaking about submission grappling specifically, that sport has not reached a unified consensus yet. In the sense that now everybody thinks. And maybe it is the case. Maybe I'm wrong, but everybody thinks, all right, it's already been defined. This is true. This is not. You should do this. You shouldn't do this.
Yeah. And basically John Danner is God. Well, he's a very smart guy. He knows a lot, and I'm sure he is right way more than I am, and he understands jiu-jitsu way better than I do. But I also do think that there are things in the sport that we have a consensus of now, and there will be a paradigm shift. Like, look at before John Danner's Danner Death Squad came, the consensus about leg locks was something totally different.
Yeah.
Now, and then the consensus became,
it's shifting all the time.
The 10 guys were the first ones that actually touched it in this.
It can be systematic. It has to be like, he was lucky he jumped on a leg, right? So then the paradigm shift happened, and I think we're a few paradigm shifts away still. Because I was talking to this with somebody the other day. I said, the moment all these former Soviet, Eastern European wrestler guys on those countries figure out, ADCC, let's give that a try. Then jiu-jitsu it's done.
Going to be a different game.
You already see like the Muammar Gordonmadovs of the world that they're already joining UFC, and it's people are like,
they're smashing everybody.
Fucking everything.
Yeah, but you know
that's the whole thing. Yeah. But those people are gonna imagine those people at the ADCC level specifically trained for grappling.
Oh no, that's going to be a horrible day.
That's gonna be like jiu-jitsu. I'm not saying jiu-jitsu is done, but it's gonna be it's gonna matter less that you're some black belt or whatever.
Jiu-jitsu is gonna have true competition coming up its way, man.
This folk style wrestler, sambo guy with ugly ears, he's gonna mess you up.
Yeah, of course. But I think about the consensus thing. You're talking about. I think because this sports, your whole body is involved. With boxing, you have like punches to the head, to the body. That's it. But if you're doing jiu-jitsu, you can go for the legs, you can go for the neck, you can go for the arms. There's so many, it's so complex, you can do, there's many ways to, control an opponent, to submit an opponent. Boxing or kickboxing is, you kick, you punch, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of,
there are less variables.
Yeah, the variables in grappling are...
It's so close though. Come on, every single country that you go to, there is some kind of
wrestling.
Yes,
I went to do a couple of. I'm sorry, Mom. I went to do drugs in the Amazon.
Yeah.
With some weird stuff that I wanted to try out there. They were wrestling already.
Yeah.
They had like it's a weird name, Upa or something like that.
Yeah.
Where they grab each other, and the idea is if the other guy puts his two hands on the floor, it's over.
Yeah.
So they're like grappling in the way, and they're strong, and it's good.
Yeah.
Imagine if the rule is touch the floor, you lose.
Yeah.
And suddenly everybody is like, and they start locked in.
Yeah.
So they're snapping each other, they're doing all this kind of stuff. It's weird, but so strong. And every single country has a little bit of it. Now unify that stuff.
Yeah. That's definitely
there.
True.
And put a little bit.
Everybody has a different style of fight.
Yeah.
Oil wrestling in Turkey.
The English had those pants wrestlings too,
Yeah.
with that weird stuff. Yeah. Scandinavia has that stuff. They do it Greco-Roman.
The Irish had collar and elbow wrestling.
Wrestling. That is true.
Yeah, so every country has some form of grappling or wrestling, I guess.
Yeah.
But what I was referring to is the specific art of what you see now. There's a
submission. If that has,
it doesn't have, or maybe it thinks it has consensus, but I think the consensus will change.
Yeah. It will change
all the time.
It's too young. It's too young still. I think we need like a couple another years, a couple another geniuses coming out, and then suddenly we're going to have something that everybody goes like in the whole world goes like, this is the shit.
This is the consensus.
Like boxing is the boxing. There's no other.
There's one style. Not one style, but
there's one consensus.
But there's no other
about
punching
how you need to
style.
punch, what works and what doesn't work.
And I don't think, and maybe we'll never reach that consensus, or maybe it's already there and I'm assuming it's not. But for now, I think it's a safe bet to assume that it's not there.
I think it's not there yet.
Yeah. And simple stuff like underhooks. And maybe it's good to not get too deep into it, but I'm gonna say right here and now, and a lot of people are gonna hate me for this. I think the underhook is the most overused thing in jiu-jitsu.
And it doesn't. Does it work?
It works in some scenarios, but it's not.
It doesn't work in every scenario. That's true. Yeah.
And you shouldn't. Underhook is an option. Let me put it like this: underhook is an option, but with great power comes great responsibility. How many times did you're on bottom and you try to fight up? How many times did your underhook became his darce? At the beginner level, right? I'm not saying you're a black, but you have many. So
So it does still happen.
Yeah.
If you don't pay attention.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, and I'm not against underhook. It's a very important and powerful thing in jiu-jitsu, and we all know the importance of the underhook. All I'm saying is.
Oh, I have a better one. How many times my underhook didn't become their Kimura?
Yes.
Every time I underhook, they
Look at what Sakuraba did to Henzo.
Yeah.
His underhook became. But yeah, so it's not always that a guarantee like it's gonna get you out, keep you safe or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying don't do underhooks. I do believe in the importance of the underhook and all that. So guys, I'm not against underhook. What I'm saying is, if I have a beginner, he's training for a month, yeah. If I have multiple options to teach him, if I can tell him this from like a dogfight situation, a half guard situation, if I can say, go for the underhook and all things are equal, strength is equal, skill is equal, or maybe the other guy's a little bit stronger or a little bit more skilled. Should I teach him go for the underhook, go for dogfight? If there is another option.
If there's another, go for the other option. Dogfight.
Yes, because what is the chances that his underhook is gonna become the other guy's overhook or the other guy's dart?
But if you're on top, guys, go for those underhooks.
Yeah,
man.
that's fine. Again, I'm not against underhooks. I'm just saying like
it depends on
we sell it too much.
We sell. Yeah, there's other ways.
Yeah, so that's what I mean with the concept.
I get that.
Right.
I get that. There's not this one true way of doing it.
No, but I'm not 100% sure if there's ever going to be a consensus about how to fight grappling, you know, because you have like some guys are really specialized in arm bars, some guys are really specialized in leg locks, you know, and it depends on which game is more strategic, smart to play, you know,
in which
certain situation. It's always there's so many variables.
I think
in grappling it's like a never-ending story. Like, okay, if he does that, you're gonna do this, but then you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna do that, and it's always like
the rules set will define. The rules set will define. I mean, the competition. If we set up a competition where, let's say, everything's allowed in the first 20 minutes, go for it. If you submit, it's over. If you take somebody down or makes like wrestling points on it, then we can consider certain stuff to be over too. You know, and then get like a unified rule set.
You also see the same thing in MMA. If you look at MMA from the start, first it was like, okay, grappling guys are gonna take down the stand-up fighters and then you win. So you have to know grappling and then you will win. But then the stand-up guys came and they were like, we're gonna sprawl. Okay. So the grappling guys needed to learn more stand-up or
to get
survive, to get into the clinch and take him to the ground. And now you see that the game is getting more at a equal level, you know. You have to know boxing, you have to know a little bit of kickboxing, you have to know grappling, you have to know how to sprawl.
The other guys are getting
they're getting more complete, you know.
I see this. It hurts my heart, but I see it with Damien Maya.
I love Damien Maya.
Yeah.
Because he gives me hope. He's like the purest. He's like the closest thing to a pure jiu-jitsu guy in MMA. He's not
and he's still.
But you see, you already feel him getting pushed out by the new generation coming in.
Because these kids do everything, man.
The kids do everything.
That's the whole thing. That's what you see. What's happening now in MMA? That like the super fighter that can fight everyone is starting to. It's getting created now.
Yeah, man.
I think, you know,
I think Choke&Chill was the early prototype.
He was a beast, man. Stand up,
he did everything.
Throwing, ground fighting. He was like
John Jones that took it to the next one too. Like
but John Jones wears me out.
Yeah. He just has the body too, man.
Yeah.
He's just bony, all the way bony.
Yeah.
Him. And what else? I think that the new generation coming up is fighting a lot like a mix of Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre.
Something like that.
Coming together. Like Israel Adesanya. Sugar Shane, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about him. He's beautiful to watch, but there's not much there after the like the grappling wise. I haven't seen anything yet.
No. I think you have to be complete as possible.
Yeah, if you want to fight MMA nowadays.
If you want to fight MMA, you know, if you want to be like the ultimate fighter.
Damn, you're gonna have to be good in everything.
Yeah. You have to know how to connect the dots, you know. You don't have to be the best boxer, you don't have to be the best grappler, you don't have to be the best wrestler, but you have to
flow.
You know, the synergy, you know, you have to know how to use that.
Yeah.
Alright. We got a message. We have another 5 minutes, and I think we went through everything I was going to talk a little bit about how glory came to be and stuff like that. I was going to talk mostly about like how do you see the future coming up, you know, in the sense of like we can all agree that we're never going to stop.
Probably. I hope not.
Probably we might take a leave for some time, but I don't think we'll ever.
Maybe for a week or two. But
I'm just gonna make use of Corona hit, so it did mess up my competition schedule. But I'm gonna make good use of the next year, provided their comp scene doesn't get disrupted by Corona again.
Yeah.
I think on a good year and a half.
I'm gonna be just competing.
Yeah, and after that, I'm probably done competing, I guess.
I'm not gonna compete at I wouldn't say I'd ever stop competing, but the frequency would be a lot lower. Like I would go to stuff that is like local stuff wouldn't interest me a lot, you know. But like, oh, we're going on a trip with all your students and everybody together, and go like do a European or do an ADCC or do
something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like a trials or something, and then keep that mode, like at least 2, 3, or 4 per year.
Well, I got some invitationals coming up, but I think after the next year and a half, I'm not gonna.
Which invitations do you have?
I got one in Iceland, and last year I did one in the US. And I was supposed to go back there, but then Corona happened.
I don't know did you show me his video with Gabriel Almeida?
Oh yeah, that was one in Italy. I don't like to talk about that. I got smashed so hard.
No, that was something that you gave away your position, man.
Yeah, I messed up, you know. It happens. And what the hell? It's Gabriel Almeida.
No, it's Gabriel Almeida too.
No, but you had to show more because I know you're capable of doing more.
Yeah, man.
And he's like, of course, top level guy, you know. And if you make one mistake,
I want to see it again. I want to see you do it again against him, and I think it's going to be a lot different. From what I've seen,
he's really good.
He's really good.
But that doesn't mean that you're really bad.
He was so helpless at that point, you know. He was past like a certain point, and then
it went to hell. But after that, I developed a lot.
You learned a lot.
Yeah.
But man, losses make you better.
Yeah,
but guys, I'd say like. This was it for today. If you guys anything in your hearts that you want to put out there,
keep doing this, man. It's nice. And
I try to get so many people like you together, get that mentality going, these talks going.
I have one thing to say. So if you're ever in Amsterdam, you want to roll, drop by ATC to do some MMA, or drop by 10th Planet Amsterdam. Which is also
I was waiting for some bullshit. Epstein didn't kill himself. Leg locks don't work. Some shit.
And that's one. And two, if you're interested in rolling with Imanari, he's coming to us in the 21st of September. So contact the guys at 10th Planet Amsterdam, and we'll set you up. It's gonna be seminars.
Yes, guys. Gents, thank you very much. That was it. Oh, I had a lot of fun again. I had so much fun, man. This is it. We from Cauliflower Philosophy would like to take a moment and thank our wonderful and beautiful sponsors. First, Mother Nature, for creating the cauliflower, the symbol of our resistance and our unification in this world. Secondly, I would like to thank the people that lend us this space. Baye Pay. It's here in Amsterdam. Wonderful coffee, wonderful atmosphere, just all around peaceful. Thank you. From the depths of our hearts. Also, I would like to once again address my candidacy for the presidency of Choke&Chill. That's it. Choke&Chill is just that amazing that I think they deserve me as a president. Exceptional rash guards, exceptional shorts. And that's what I believe in. I believe that rash guards should be strong, that boots should be dirty, that freedom should be free, and that bald eagles should fly over everybody's house every morning at sunrise. Choke&Chill. If you believe in freedom, then you believe in Choke&Chill. I would also like to thank Monkey Tape for keeping things together. Monkey Tape, keeping things together. It's a play on words. You'll get it. Thank you, Monkey Tape. Thank you also to Grip, 020. He had made me squat so much that I'm more amphibious now than I have ever been in my life. I'm partially frogman just because of that much squatting and strength training. Thank you, Grip. You're an amazing guy. And that's it. Also, thank you, ATC. If it wasn't for you, this would have never started. We had never known each other, and we had never grown to be this awesomely strong community. The place, a home, outside of our own home. Eat more cauliflowers. Thank you very much.